What's up guys, Coach Austin here with your Orange Theory workout tip of the day. And today we're gonna be on the TRX talking about the Y-raise. And with an exercise like the Y-raise, which requires very specific, very strict form, it can be very easy to get away from that strict form and all of a sudden just be sort of going up and down and not really focusing on working the muscles that we want to work. So I want to give just a small tip for this exercise to really help you get the most out of it and so that you can avoid looking goofy or looking like you don't know what you're doing while doing this move. So when setting up for the Y-raise, just like any sort of TRX exercise, we really want to be aware of our three anchor points: our hips, our core, and our shoulders. So we want to make sure that with our arms out in front of us, as we get into this first starting position, we don't want to be slouched here. So first thing we do is we fix the hips by squeezing our butt cheeks together. So getting our hips forward. From here, puffing our chest up, bringing our shoulder blades back behind us, and then keeping our core nice and tight. So squeezing your ab muscles together. Now from this position, we want to keep just a very slight bend in the elbows. We don't want to necessarily lock out our elbow joint completely. We want to protect that joint by giving just a slight bend. But now from this position, we want to keep the arms exactly how they are now and use the muscles in our upper back to raise ourselves up like the letter Y and bring ourselves down slow and controlled. Now the problem is because we take our arms out so far away from our bodies and those muscles in our upper back just aren't very big muscles, that's just how the human anatomy is, that we actually don't need a lot of body angle to make that exercise all of a sudden very, very challenging. So you want to avoid starting off too steep. Because even if you're a couple steps too close to the wall or to the mirror or wherever your TRX are, as soon as you start to pull up, your body might have a tendency to either throw your hips forward or bend your elbows more to make that exercise easier. This is just your body's natural compensation for the exercise being too challenging. So as far as your body position goes, you really want to be aware of where you're standing. And we want to just go slightly past standing vertical. Don't start too steep because we want to avoid bending the elbows or thrusting our hips forward. We really want to lock in the hips. Make sure the chest is puffed out and the core really is squeezed tight, activating with our back muscles. Now, if you want another thing to keep in mind in order to really isolate those back muscles, it's to actually give it a pre-engagement before you actually do the lift. So instead of starting just like this, where we can have a tendency to throw ourselves forward, lift up just slightly. So going from here, lifting up just a little bit, you're gonna feel those back muscles activate right away. Pause, and now from here, finish the lift. So essentially you're killing all momentum that you could get from throwing yourself forward. So when you start, again, you come up just slightly, pause, and now pull up to the top. That eliminates any momentum you could get from using your hips or bending your arms first thing. That's gonna make those back muscles light up, fire up, and again, it's one of those exercises where you really can't have any ego going into it. You're gonna be standing almost pretty much straight up and down with just a slight bit of angle, but it's to really isolate those muscles so that you can get the most out of the exercise. So don't worry about having a super steep body angle and impressing everybody else around you. Drop the ego, do it right, keep those tips in mind, and guys, get out there, have a great workout.